So the last curtain heading I'm going to show you does involve some sewing. We're making tab top curtains. Tab top is kind of a new look I've seen quite a lot lately. It's a very contemporary style, but it does look great in many homes. So what we've got here is our curtain panel. I used a strip of fabric from the same fabric as my curtain. It was about 4 or 5 inches thick, and I used my Miraculous seam binding to finish the edges. I just heated them up with that iron like I showed you in our earlier tutorial. So with this strip, all I'm going to do is cut it into pieces, and then I'll show you how to sew it onto the top of your curtain. So what we're going to do is measure out equal pieces. I want them to be 6 inches each. So this will be very simple. All I'm going to do is check for 6 inches and just give it a good old swipe with my blade. 6 plus 6, 12. There's 6 more. There's another 6. So once I've got those guys cut out, I'm going to add them to my curtain here. So I've got my curtain facing the right side is on the table. So this is the back of my curtain. And I'm just going to evenly distribute all 6 of my tabs along the curtain. So what I'm doing here is I have evenly distributed my tabs. I chose to work with 6 of them. So what I did is I put 2 on the ends, and then I worked my way in, making sure there was nice, equal amounts of space in between each one. I always like to kind of eyeball things, but you can also measure them to be exact if you want. So once those guys are there, all I'm going to do is fold them down and pin them in place. I want to pin them right along the edge here. We have about a 1/2 inch overlap of the tab and the curtain. So as we sew this, the main idea is just to reinforce that tab so it won't come out while it's on the hanger. So all I got to do is forward stitch, and then whenever I reach the end of my tab, I just want to do a little back stitch to really hold that guy in place. Now I could just keep sewing all the way down, but what I'd rather do here is just lift it up and start over after every tab, just to keep my thread down to a minimum. So I'm going to insert my needle into the machine just before the tab. Then I'm going to sew, reinforce it to where the tab meets the curtain, and then keep on going. And now we have our tab top curtains. I think they turned out fantastic. I really like how the tabs work with the sheen of this fabric. It adds a nice decorative element without taking away too much from the overall look. Now that we've made all those different curtain headings, let's see how they look in comparison. Here we have all the headings we just made. We've got our broad pocket, our grommet, our tab top, and our rings. So now you know all about curtain headings. Go ahead and choose your own favorite, the one you want to make for your home. As long as you're having fun with it, you're making the right choice. For our next project, we're going to learn about passementerie. Passementerie is a fancy word to describe the fancy trim you put around things, such as this pillow.